computer I'm using is a little slow. Hey, share. I'm doing this on YouTube. I was trying to do it on Facebook, but it's not working on Facebook. So today I'm going to paint some elementals. Sharing to my friends. So if you feel like checking out me painting some stuff for the first time in a very long time, come check me out. Sunday. Alright, so as you can see, my hands are here. I have a camera angle, so like it's been a while since I've set anything up like this, so I have no way of seeing what I'm doing. So if there's an issue, I do have a computer beside me, so I'm going to also be watching the stream. I'm just going to open up a new tab and talk to everybody while I'm doing so, and possibly even, be hardcore and listen to some music. But I can't listen to music without wearing headphones because, All right. I'm not using a wet palette today. I'm just going to use my dry palette. Just because these aren't my minis and I just want to have as much control as possible, and I'm still kind of mastering the wet palette usage. So, yes. So this is the color scheme we're going to go for. These are my buddy's minis. He asked me to paint them for him. Fairly simple. Black with little gray highlights. I kept it very dark. Just kind of touched the gray on the highlights, and then I did the gold. There's like 4 or 5 different shades of gold in there. And then the windows. And then I used technical paints for my lasers. So, there's another one. Boop, 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 boop. I like the technical paints because it kind of retains a high gloss, because they're lasers, they're energy weapons, so they use lenses to like refract the light, I believe that's the right word, and focus them. So they would have, laser lenses on them. Yeah, because, Battletech. So, and then, yeah, there's the other one. These are all the mechs from the starter box, plus a full lance of elements. So, like I said, I kept it really dark. I didn't do, the client wanted them very dark. Although I did have fun with the grass. I have a static grass applicator, which I won't do today because it's kind of messy and I have all this equipment out. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So, all these are primed and ready to go. I'm going to be starting off by finishing some of the smoke, which I'm going to admit I'm not 100% happy with, but I think it kind of looks as realistic as I can get it at 6mm scale. Because, Catalyst miniatures are pretty good, but they're not GW. Like, just to give you an idea, if you're not familiar with it, like, GW is 28mm, right? And there's a heck of a lot more detail in these miniatures. This is a 3D printed model that I did, but this is equivalent to what Games Workshop produces, right? Versus, plastic Catalyst miniatures game model, which is not nearly as detailed, but they still look good. And playing with these on the tabletop is far better than playing with some of the older Ral Partha and Ironwind Metals ones. And I'm sorry for saying that. I don't There's a lot of the Iron Wind Metals ones that I don't like because I think they're based off of the Ralpartha ones. But that is just my opinion, so do not shoot me for it. Anyways, shall we begin? I have to go back and I have to fix something first, though. So, do. I'm going to use. One thing I discovered in my miniature painting, and I don't know if you know this, but because acrylic water-based, you know, I just got into 3D printing too, so I've been having some fun with 3D printing things, but a few painters that I've been watching use something like this or something that looks close to this to keep their brushes upside down. So instead of having to like practically blow dry my brushes, you know, to keep them, I can just put them like this and it keeps all the paint and liquid out of this furrow here, and you know, keeps them nice and sharp. And these brushes have lasted me a while. I don't see a whole lot of fraying. This one's one of my favorites in particular. I definitely have to wash them again though. Ooh, I just heard myself cough on my stream. Oh yes. Nobody's watching yet, but I mean, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm not here to please you. I'm here to just kind of have fun. This is how I'm going to drive myself to do a little bit better. Since I retired from video, I've gotten rid of all of my equipment. So I'm literally doing this with the one little tripod I have and my cell phone. So that's how I'm doing this hardcore setup. Looks pretty good though. Sorry, I'm keeping my mini off to the side. I'll try and keep it in the middle a little bit better. So right now I'm just kind of fixing this. I usually do a high gloss around the rim of the base, and I do a high gloss paint around the rim of the base just to kind of like make it look like a finished model. I've been doing that ever since I started painting minis, and I actually just like the look. It just kind of finishes it off. One question. If you do paint minis, do you lick your brushes? I do. Why? I don't know why. It's just a habit. A very bad habit. Okay, so basically what we're going to do to finish this off, and I think I've got all these guys done to the point where the fire is done. I just have to dry brush some yellow on that. So the flames would technically be yellow because it is the brightest color. I could have gone up to blue, but I mean, blue typically tends to be very hot, and these are just rockets to make these guys jump. So I did a coat of yellow over the primer, and then like a orange wash, and then I'm gonna do white dry brush over top at the bottom, and then a white layer over top on the bottom, and then black dry brush just to kind of look like soot being drawn up and stuff like that, just to give it that smoky look that we're looking for, because like it's a 5-ton piece of equipment. It's going to take a little bit of thrust to push this up in the air, right? So, and then I have to go through, do some highlights, and do the gold layer, and then go through. So I'll do my metallics first, and then I'll go do my highlights. Because, you know, yeah, life. I will step out to get some coffee, because coffee is the nectar of the gods. And I do so like my coffee. Gonna use some Vallejo Gay Bear, because it's Vallejo Gay Bear. And yeah. I'm not even listening to music yet, I'm just kind of listening to myself talk. So, making sure, yep, get good view. Alright, just gonna make some happy little trees here. I'm gonna go back and redo the orange just to kind of blend it in with the yellow. It is a bit wet, and then I might do some dry brush and some white just to bring it up a little higher. This is more like the water vapor level. Should probably use the drier white than I did, but whatever. Water vapor. You live, you learn. Alright. Look at that. See that clear layer? This is not an instruction video, this is just me painting. If you do not like it, you do not have to watch. If you do like it, like, share, and subscribe. Remember that? Oh my god, it's so lame. You know, even when running a YouTube channel, I kind of never bought into that whole... I mean, yeah, you have to say it, right? But YouTube was kind of at a time where they were trying to figure out what the heck they wanted to do and what their stipulations were going to be on how much money you make and stuff off of like advertisements and stuff like that. But I think I'm probably going to get back into gaming streaming too. I just don't actually have the set up right now. Definitely for Starfield, I will probably attempt to get a 4K streaming device so that I can at least stream to a computer and just have some fun with that, because I like doing it. I'm not planning on making money off of it. It's just something fun to do. While I do what Kenny does. I just reheard that last part. Reminds me of the Asian reporter lady off of Family Guy. Well, I do what Kenny does. I'm a horrible person sometimes. So, how's everybody's day? Well, that's nice. If you're watching this after, you can still reply. I'm just a sarcastic person sometimes. Oh, one of the wonderful things about YouTube is I'm pretty sure I can stream music while I'm doing this, so I can listen to music, but you can't. So I don't just have to hear myself talk. Because if I streamed while I was doing this, that would be copyright infringement. And we don't want to do that. My next project after these guys are done is going to be... I'll bring it out. I'll explain it to you because it's kind of fun. Just had to go into the mighty 3D printing chamber. I have two 3D printing printers. I have a filament printer and a resin printer. It's actually not as bad to get into as you would think. So I just bought the Dominions Divided box set, or book, Duh, box set. Oh, that would be awesome if it was a box set. For Battletech. So, in it, the only mech is a variant of the Ares called the Apollo. This is a 135-ton juggernaut. It has a Gauss rifle and a AC-5 and a whole other slew of weapons. I was going to try and paint a little bit of him today, but I don't know how long I'm going to be on. It is a first streaming session after all. I will eventually be painting this. This is my next project on the go. So yeah. I definitely should go into the 3D file and correct that. I don't like that. Unless those are supposed to be there. It just looks ugly. Might be, because this piece did have errors. And I had to fix them, so that actually might be why. But I can also fill it in with some resin and have some fun. So this is an interesting mech because it's got a whack ton of weapons. It's 135 tons. It, I don't remember whether I had to pay for this one off Cults, but it's pretty cool. You know, and it's got little holes for magnetizing the mech itself. So it's a giant tripod. I know a lot of people hate on tripods, but this guy actually kind of fits. He is a basically walking weapons platform, and if you have to defend something and you don't need to move around very fast, he is a very nice piece of equipment to have because they will be a while trying to take through his armor because he's got weapons on each leg and then he's got a whole slew of weapons on the front. So, yeah. So that is my next project. I was inspired to paint one because due to the lore, as far as I remember, just from my brief reading of the new book that I bought, which is Dominions Divided, which covers the Draconis Combine, and it covers a few other houses and some the Rashalog League and stuff like that. In Battletech's new era, which is the iClan era, developed by Catalyst Gate Labs. So that's their little addition to the entire 30-plus year Battletech universe. So, I don't know much about that variant, other than what I've seen in the book. Because it is the first time I've seen that variant, and I've gone through all of my many, oh my gosh, I'm a nerd. Many, and might I reiterate, many books and sources for different variants on mechs. And I don't see it. It's a very specific name. It is called the Apollo, and it appears in the Dominions Divided. So I have a feeling it is a particular variant. Alright, so just making sure. Alright, still in good position. Had to put on my nerd goggles. Oh wow, that's way better. Alright, so I'm just letting that dry a little bit longer. So while these guys are done, I'm going to start doing some highlights. I've accidentally hit them with yellow, so I'm going to retouch those up with some Avalon Black before we get started. Abaddon Black. I'm so sorry. The way I say things sometimes is silly. Alright. Touching up the mech boys, la da da da. Touching up the mech boys, la da 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 da. There we go. That's closer to the camera. Actually, where I have the camera set up is perfect for me. I don't know. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah. Yeah, so you can actually see very well what I'm doing. I can't get much closer other than putting the camera in my face, which is kind of counterproductive. A lot of the problems with painting and streaming are the fact that you're consistently trying to fight with where your camera is. I noticed that on my previous setup from like a few years back. I was consistently trying to fight my camera. But that was in a different place. I'm also in a I'm in a brighter place right now. Oops. I just dropped my paintbrush. It's funny, I'm wearing magnetized glasses and I'm not even using them. Oh. I have to get used to using them. Like, they're really nice. They do magnify a little bit. One of the other people I know that paints has a really nice set. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get back into streaming a little bit more. Just because my hobbies have taken me to a place where I'm a little bit more sedentary. I did it on purpose. I have a very physical job now, and, I don't mind. I'm relaxing after playing outside in the dirt all day. I like my job. I would like to keep fit for my job. I would also like to not destroy my body for my job. Which I know, eventually, my job will destroy my body. But that is a problem for Kenny at a later date. Oh, wow, I was really sloppy with this one. See, this mold is nice. It has very clear rockets, right? These rockets are clearly on the back. It looks like they fold out, unless that's actually. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, I'm gonna have to fix that up too. See what I mean? If this was a Games Workshop model, I wouldn't question it. I'd be like, that, sir, is a jump pack. This is what happens when it snows outside and I get bored. Yes. My elemental dudes. They shall be elemental. They shall be elementary in the destruction of the anime. I have a cold. Yeah, see, that looks better. I speculate that that's, yeah. So I did screw up. I'm gonna have to go touch that up. But that's cool. Oh, I thinned my paint out too much. And I'm not even on screen. There we go. You know, what'd be really cool is if I had a cool camera that could shoot this in VR, and then you can put on VR and watch me paint in real time. You'd be like, I'm painting minis. This is so the not coolest thing in the world. I mean, I get it. I do it because I enjoy it. Boo, ba-doo-doo, ba-da-da-da-doo-doo-doo-doo. So I'm not going all the way down to the bottom of the feet here, mainly because, yo, these dudes be walking in the dirt, you know? And when I do the fancy grass stuff, it's gonna stick up and look like grass. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. Most people won't see it. And I mean, to be honest with you, most of the time when they're playing with them, you're going to be looking at them from this perspective, anyways. And the best of all, they're walking through mud. They're 5 tons. They're bound to get dirt on them. Yep. Said some things. Did some things. Do I regret them? No. No, I don't. You know what I need? I have performed a sacrilegious act. I would just like to everybody to know. I started streaming without coffee. And again, I'm holding the mini away from the camera. See, that's how it's supposed to go. So, I'm gonna have to go back and fix those other dudes. And this one has a little bit of flame that I missed. But that's cool. I don't know what that was. Ah, man, that was good. See, I need coffee. I'm gonna go get some coffee. But first, I've got to go for a wheeze. If you know that reference, you are awesome. Well, you are awesome anyways, even if you don't know that reference. Because people is awesome. Boo doo boo. Well, most people, people in power, they seem to be pretty good at screwing us over. But you know what? outside. It's beautiful. Every time I look up, I can see it, but I have to look up at a really awkward angle because I am wearing magnifying glasses on my eyes. It's pretty fun. Oh no, I have to touch up that brown. I am destroying my own paint job. So yes, I don't know much about elementals. I know a lot more about, specific mechs and stuff like that because it's Battletech and yes, Battletech, 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 Battletech. You know what I should do? I should put a reference to where I need to be. So right there. See that little cross? If I hold the mini right there, the mini is in a perfect position for me to do my job and you to witness me doing my job. Therefore, it is a successful solution. So yes, elementals, little 5-ton dudes. No, actually, I don't think these guys are 5 tons. Which doesn't make sense. Because this is supposed to be, I think, I don't actually have the reference books in front of me, so I can't speak on that. But like, every time I hear about how um, small, like how light these guys are, I'm actually pretty surprised. Because like they're power suits, right? So it doesn't matter how much they weigh, right? Yeah. So yes, I'm going to step away for a moment. One must find some good source material. I have to find good source material for. Ooh, breakfast of champions, Subway cookies. I know I'm gonna regret this. Nope, nope, not regretting it right now. No, no. This is a public advertisement for Subway cookies. I will regret this. That's okay. This. Hello out there. So, what hobbies do you people have? I have 3 main hobbies. No? 4 main hobbies. I have older hobbies that I used to do, but I don't do anymore, and I still have stuff for them. Yeah, I might do them occasionally because it's fun to go revisit. Just kind of doing some happy little trees here. No, too much water. You know what the beauty of acrylics is? You can use water to draw away paint because it's water soluble. I did it again. That's okay. I'm going to let it dry. And we will start over. I must get the water off of my paintbrush. That is, I mean, I wet my paints anyways, like I thin them down. So it's partially why I'm having that problem, but I shouldn't wet them down that much. So I'm gonna dry brush a little bit of white over this to, just bring up, kind of blend in this layer a little bit more so that it looks a little bit more transition-y and not so like the flames have stopped. I don't know why I talk the way I do sometimes. I am silly. Oh, so silly. So, do you have a 3D printer at home? If you do, you need a new game. You should check out a really cool game that is historically one of the most important games to humankind. If you haven't heard of it, if you have heard of it, cool. If you haven't heard it, get out from under that rock you've been under. And I say that very loosely because my sister Lilith actually introduced me to it, and I still, to this day, think it's the coolest thing ever. It's called the Royal Game of Ur. So my next filament 3D project is going to be that because yeah, it's a cool game. That's it. That's my whole reason for it. It's a cool game, and it's like historically accurate because it's old. uh, oh well. Now I'm sad. I screwed this up. Still too bad. But like it coats my hand really nice. Why is it going on so wet? Why is it so wet? Because that was an inappropriate joke. I'm sorry, not sorry. Don't cancel me. You know what? Actually, cancel me. Please, God, cancel me. Oh, Lord, cancel me. I think people get more popular once they've been canceled because they get, like, news on them and stuff. And bad press is still press. So, not that I'm saying that some people, like, have been good about what they've been canceled about. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it has been pretty rough, especially when it comes to some of the film people. Um, I'm honestly not gonna lie. I'm not surprised because I used to work in film, and people, and people are messed up. And film is a weird, funny um, industry. It attracts a specific kind of people. I'm not saying all those people are like that. I'm just saying that it attracts people who prey on false power. Like the idea that we. Okay, I admit I get into this too. Um, it takes a lot to be creative. But at the same point in time, at the same point in time, to put somebody on a pedestal, right, and give them immense amounts of money and power and wealth, and like some people shouldn't have that power and wealth. That's what I'm saying, and that's why we get messed up people, especially in the film industry, and because they're full of themselves. I'm not saying everybody in the film industry is full of themselves. My God, please don't lynch me. But there are a lot of people in the film industry who are full of themselves, and although that is not why I left, it's not why I retired. It's just the I always found it silly that even as a sound guy, I would have to quote unquote play into somebody's ego whom I really didn't care about. I mean, I realize that we have to do it literally all the time because, we all have jobs. So this is my skill with black. Normally I would be adding purple, but the person I'm painting these for did not want me to use black. oh my lord. So the person I'm painting these for, I use purple. Like a dark, dark, dark purple to like get highlights. Because it's black and I want to make it look black, right? And when light refracts off of black, you can get a various array of colors. Purple being one of them, blue being one of them. It depends on like whether you want a warm black or a cold black, right? As far as painting goes. I mean, you could even go so far as to use like a very dark green if you want. It just depends on what the surrounding light is that would be reflecting off of whatever material the made out of. So like, for example, with Games Workshop stuff and sci-fi stuff, you could technically get away with using um, any color, if that makes sense. So like you can use white. Obviously, it's going to be very subtle, right? If it's white, like a very bright color. Right now, I'm using a medium gray, right? It's a very dark gray. It's not super dark, but it's just providing little accents, right? And these guys are so small. If I make any mistakes, I can always go back and, I'm gonna reflect some light on the back of these guys. It's just to kind of bring out some of that detail. I've lost my reference. So ooh, that looks so nice. Just super subtle. Just gotta make sure. You know, that little cross reference is super dope because it gives me. I know if I hold my minis right here, if I hold them right here, they're in the ideal spot. Still gonna block the light, but that's cool. This guy's got some dirt in his foot. He's a dirty foot. He stepped in cow poop. It's okay, I can fix that. Get rid of some of the cow poop. So, like, I don't know if you can see this on camera. I don't know how well it plays. I lost my reference. So, it does a nice job of like highlighting, but at the same point in time, like it's super subtle. I will go through and maybe add another highlight layer, but currently, that looks okay. So that's one set almost done. Now I'm going to try a different technique. I have this brush, and I'm going to use a different brush to scoop it out. One of my trashy brushes. This is a trashy brush. I'm using Mechanicus Gray as a base color. I'm going to use this trashy brush, trashy brush, to just oh yes, just dry brush. You can always bring that down a little bit more, but wait, I'm gonna. So because there is a source of light, I'm going to reflect that the opposite way. I might actually throw a little bit of yellow into that, just near the feet. Oof, that was a lot. Oh well. I mean, I can accent this highlight a little bit better, mainly because these guys are so small. They still kind of look black. They'll be like a little lighter black, but you know, they'll go well with these guys. Yep. The perfect amount of love there. Oh yeah. Yeah. Do I get excited about silly things? Yes, because I am a big kid. Am I happy about being a big kid at the ripe old age of 40? You know what? I think anybody who's a big kid at the age of 40 should be happy because there are so many people on this planet who are miserable and go out of their way to make everybody else miserable. So, if you can find a little joy in something so silly as painting a little bit of plastic, then do it. Albeit, you know, people who are miserable generally have had hard lives. But I am a big kid because I've had a hard life. So, you can approach it from many different directions if one were to create an argument about that. Argument. Argument. I love my use of the English language. Oh, wow, those look good. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, yes. I'm happy with how this is going. All right. I might actually pick some of these guys up myself. Or 3D print them. Nah, if I can get it from Catalyst Game Labs, I should get it from Catalyst Game Labs. And if I can't get specific variants, I will create my own. Because I mean, Catalyst stuff is reasonably priced, and I would like to support them. One would argue that 3D printing in Games Workshop, you know, on the other hand, is a bad thing, right? It's copyright infringement. But at the same point in time, if you want to play the game and you pay for the books and you are okay and have opponents who are okay with using proxies, I think that's a perfectly fine thing. Ooh, and we have a visitor. Hello, number two. Who else is watching? I cannot see. Say hello. Is this Kai? Is it Kai? He said he was going to watch my stream. So far, he has failed his mission. See? Look. Happy little trees. Oh, no, they left. Well. I called them out for watching my stream. I embarrassed them. How dare I? I'm just having some fun. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, silly me. I have to learn to put things back to the way they were. Oh, no, I can't use that brush. I need to use this brush. It looks like I'm wasting a lot of paint, but at the same point in time, I have a huge amount of this stuff. I don't know why I have so much of this. So yes, I'm wasting a lot of paint, but you know what? You know what? I am a waster. How dare I? I'm not a huge fan of these guys. I think like there are better models out there. But at the same time, you know, you gotta support support your local support the people who are making your favorite games. Right? That is why I love the like, I mean, I like the Catalyst mechs generally, although I feel some are lacking. They kind of did a nice mix between old and new. Right, so they took a lot of the older sculpts and gave them a more modern look. You know. You know, not much has changed about some of them. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to look up a reference picture for these elementals. Mainly because I have never painted elementals before. So, just kind of taking a look at how they should be colored. Like, already, just a quick little search online, I'm finding insane amounts of high polygon 3D models. Although, you know, printing something at this size with a resin printer is definitely doable. It's not a huge issue, but it can be problematic. Okay, so I know this because I've been trying to print infantry. So, and then somebody I play with at the local shop, um, they recommended I use um, I think this is that Belcher's garbage. I don't know what I did to it. I mixed it in a really funny way. Time to ruin my paintbrush with metallics. That's okay. This is a cheap paintbrush, so I'm not too worried about it. It's not like I used $300 worth of, you know. Okay, yeah. So these are missile pods. And this is a water droplet. Good thing I caught that. Haha, that could have been fun. Right, and then I think I'm going to just do the top of the head gold. Keep everything subtle. I've done a nice subtle color scheme for the rest of these, so I have to go back and touch that up. Why is there so much water in this brush? So, like, one thing I would suggest, because there's that argument, if I were to 3D print these, they would be problematic, sometimes more brittle. But at the same time, one would argue that I can get more quality out of these minis and more consistently once I nail once I nail the print parameters down, which not my own horn, but I'm actually pretty good at that. That's not hard. Um, but like the imperfections in these minis, right? Considering that I am paying for them, right, is kind of like it's unacceptable, right? But it's unacceptable, but it's acceptable because I mean they don't release new versions of these models. The only other way for me to get these models would be to like go through Iron Wind Metals, and there's a lot of their sculpts that I generally just don't like. Not that I'm not gonna promote like a company that supports my favorite tabletop game, but just I don't like some of the older sculpts that they have. Some of the newer sculpts they have are really good, and a lot of them are based on like if you go onto their website, they're based on the oh wow, she's even that little bit of silver looks good. Right. So it just brings out that the missile launchers on these guys. This guy doesn't have any missile launchers. But like, I realize that I'm working at 6 millimeter scale, and it's hard even for plastic manufacturers to keep this level of detail in plastic. But at the same time, if Games Workshop can master the art of plastic and high pressured plastic injection mold, because that's how they make their minis, right? They put the plastic into the mold under pressure so it fills the cracks. They have gas off stuff. They have gas off vents, etc. right? So they always like when they sell a model, right? It doesn't have that many imperfections in them, with the exception of fine cast. I absolutely hate fine cast models, but I've never had a problem with any Games Workshop plastic. So, for the quality of the Mini, I would actually defend Games Workshop and their high prices. But at the same time, how they are treating their own game is atrocious, in my opinion. So don't shoot the messenger. So I have to say, in my opinion. So, like, if you think of it, five of these guys cost the person who purchased these, you know, $40. So that's $10 a model, which I'd say for these, considering the fact what he would have to pay to get them anywhere else, would be okay, right? But he's not. He doesn't want to paint them, so he got me to paint them. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's cool. I actually enjoy the painting aspect of this hobby, so that's the beauty of it, right? Everyone has this portion they can enjoy. He more or less likes playing, so he gets models. I get some lore books in return, so it's kind of a nice trade-off. But like, so it's 6 millimeters. If you take a look at this model, right, you can see the detail. They look okay. You're generally going to be seeing them like from that distance away, right? You can make out what they are. You can see what they are. You can see some detail, right? Because I've done all the highlighting and stuff. But if I were to 3D print these, I guarantee you there would be at least twice as much detail. I was going to say 10 times more, but depends on the modeler, right? Some of the Thingiverse models can be pretty trash. But like, I would recommend if you're looking for STL files, sometimes if you really like a way a person models something, I generally choose to support them. Like all of my tanks are from a particular artist on cults. I won't tell you who it is because I do know that Catalyst has been going after people because they're greedy and they're like, no, buy our plastic. You know, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna argue about that. But if you're gonna charge somebody for something, make sure it's worthwhile. Ooh, that's actually a really good idea. Can use my watery, gross, disgusting lead belcher to thin down my other lead belcher, and then I still have twice as much pigment. So, I like my 3D printed stuff too. I mean, I'll still go up. There's a few things I want to do. I want to buy a knight from GW, from the G Dubs. To build my own custom knight. because it's a big stompy robot, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I kind of like big stompy robots. Like I have a Tau army. I have a Necron army, both of which have big stompy robots. Hey, Necrons themselves are literally big stompy robots. I mean, they're not gigantic. Their biggest item is the construct, the synaptic construct thingamajigger. So yeah, I have Tau. I used to have Space Marines. Actually, started printing some Space Marines, just to kind of like print something different because I've been printing and painting mechs for a little while. So I got into the habit of like buying the Catalyst Game Line mechs to collect them, and then just using my 3D printed stuff on the tabletop. It sounds kind of silly, but somewhere along the lines there's a reason for it. Hey, I'm successful. I've had one person view my stream today. That's actually, to be honest with you, more than I was hoping for. Yep. And I see I've hit the gold up here, but that's cool because I will be putting gold on the top of his head anyways. So, Battletech. My adventures in Battletech. Let me tell you. You've been alright. You thought I was going to say something spectacular, didn't you? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Boo boo. So, 3 hobbies: 3D printing, gaming. Right now, my current game is BattleTech, but um, I do have Black Seas ready to go, which is another game that I really want to try. But I don't know anybody that plays it around here. It's actually a relatively easy game. It's 1/650th scale warships. It's actually pretty cool. So it's like 17th and 18th century naval combat. So it's kind of dope. I like that period in time of history. Hello, person who is watching my stream. Welcome to my stream. Dang it. Right now it's Battletech. There is so much to this game, though. It's insane. You can definitely dive deep down a rabbit hole that it's hard to get out of. Because Battletech, the mainstay of the game is the mechs, but you also have literally just about everything under the sun, including raving mobs of people that you can literally run into battle. I'm not going to say that they're going to do well, but at the same time, you can do it. So currently in my repertoire, thanks to 3D printing and stuff, I have helicopters, or the game calls them vertical takeoff and landing. Um, I have tanks, many, many tanks. I have some aerospace fighters that I don't quite know how to use it because it takes place differently in the game. So I have that book on order, so I'm going to go through it and read. But yeah, so you've got like complete land, sea, naval combat. And you even have space too, right? So, because you can send in units from space, like you can have like an entire armada of ships orbiting a planet ready to invade, right? And if you need to, if the scenario calls for it, you could literally have the ships drop to the planet and have to like break out of their um, drop ships before they can enter combat with any other vehicles, so they'd be taking fire the entire time. So like you can stage planetary invasions, which you know it's if you're playing the classic rules, it can get kind of complicated and long and drawn out. Um, so if they play like a much older war game, so like one of the old Avalon Hills style hex space things that like take like 6 hours to do much. It's an adventure, right? It's a kind of, if you want to do a massive battle on that scale, you want to have a place that you could set it up and just leave it so that you can come back to it at a later date. Like D&D, people would go to people go to your house and they play D&D once a week, right? So with BattleTech, there are groups of people that go to other people's houses and they play once a week, right? And then they record what hex they're on, which way they're facing, and all the other stuff. Right, so you can have a campaign that can last for months in that case. Oh, hey Jace, how are you? Is it Jace? Oh, the message just came up. All right, I shall keep painting. Paint, paint, paint. I promised my buddy that I would finish painting these this weekend, so that is what I shall be doing. So I think I'm off to a good start. Wasn't sure how I wanted to look, like one of these guys to look, because my buddy kind of gave me free range. Anyways, like, so back to the 3D printing thing. I will technically buy these minis to support the company that owns the um, the minis, but I don't have to like the sculpt. And I mean, if I don't like the sculpt, I'm not going to buy any more. I'm going to buy some to have them. But I mean, these are garbage. Like this guy is misformed. This guy is not misformed. This guy is not misformed. This guy is misformed, right? So there's no consistency there. With like Games Workshop, you're paying premium prices for minis, but you're also like if you have a problem like that, you will get refunded and not refunded. They'll just send you a whole box of minis and stuff like that. I'm sure Catalyst would too, but like I don't know. I'm just not impressed with some of the sculpts. But I love the game, so I'm gonna support the game. So nothing in life is perfect. If life was perfect, it would be boring. And I tell you, I get bored easily. All right, so. Oh yes, and for anybody who's curious, if you do paint, this is actually a STL file that I found. Um, while it was printing, I put it on pause. You can kind of see the seam. I put sand in the bottom of this to give it some weight so it doesn't move around a lot. And then I got like 8 painting handles. There's a 10 painting handle version. There's a 8 painting handle version. And they are a little bit bigger, if not the same size as the Games Workshop ones. So, and I like these. This is a very welcome addition to my it's a very welcome addition. Yeah, sorry, just got distracted by social media there. All right. Balthasar Gold. So we're going to do a layer of Balthasar Gold to start the gold. Mornfang Brown. That is not gold. Air, Balthasar Gold, Air, Balthasar Gold. Ooh, dry Necron compound. I might do some highlights with that in the in the steel. I swear to God, I had another thing of Balthasar Gold. Yes, I do. Haha, just found it. See? Balthasar Gold. It's actually a really old paint pot. This is one of the... I wouldn't say it's one of the first. Because my Necrons have a lot of gold in them, and I've gone through a lot of this base color in my years of painting minis. Which isn't that long, because I started this in 2017 with the... Not the Indomitus box set, but the... Oh, what was it called? Dark Imperium. Alright. No water droplets. I curse the water droplets. Alright. Making sure I'm holding my hand steady for viewers to see. So, I'm going to paint a little bit of gold on top of their head. It's not gonna be perfect. You know what? Honestly, I think I might just do the torso in gold because it is small and I do have a nice technique for bringing out detail in gold. And I have many different shades of gold, so I can actually do a really good job on it. So I'll just do this. Oh wow, that's gonna look sick. Ah yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. Ooh, this is nice. So, my technique will be um, not too hard. One of the first people that I started playing war games with pointed this out to me. So I will be, and it might be common knowledge. I'm pretty sure this is common knowledge. But for those of you who don't paint or do not know, this could be a welcome piece of advice. No, I have to go back and do touch-ups. I don't want to do touch-ups, but whatever. 6mm, guys and girls. It's forgiving, but it's also not. Ooh, that looks good. So you can kind of see the paint scheme I'm going for. It's not too bad. I mean, they're walking death machines, so it's not like camouflage is going to work against the tank. These guys, actually, to be honest with you, I've used the elementals, so I can't really comment on it. So, I haven't even painted my own personal elementals. So, these battle suits are alien to me. So, if you are watching this now or at a later date, I hope this inspires you to paint. It'd be really cool if I had a way to like stream multiple people and we could all just like have a conversation. You know? I'm pretty sure it's already been done. And it's done by another channel. And there's lots of different podcasts. What's the thing? Like, it's hard to find. Okay, it's becoming easier, but for the longest time, it was hard to find content on specific games. Right? It's like you take games like Infinity. They all have their niche markets. Infinity is definitely more of a competitive level game. Um, it's I can't really say how fun it is because I haven't played it. I do have a starter army, but I haven't started it. I have. I also have like Heavy Gear Guys, which is a Canadian company based in Quebec, I believe. I do. I think they're in Montreal actually. So they manufacture the game called Heavy Gear, and they have since the '90s. And if you are as old as I am, you'll remember when mecha games were in their prime. So like Mech Warrior and stuff like that. Heavy Gear was actually based on smaller mechs called gears. And then, so basically you had a pilot that kind of hopped inside and drove it like just a battle suit, like these guys. That basically like these guys. These guys would be what a gear would be. They're just like elementals from a different world. The game is, I think, 15 millimeters. So yeah, they'd be larger battle suits, but they're still battle suits. So where was I going with that? Oh, I totally lost track. Oh yeah, so like I have interest in variety games. You know, so it's hard to find source material to watch on games like Heavy Gear. Um, Thanks to channels like Play On, I think it's Play On. Yeah, Play On Tabletop. They do a lot of different reviews of games. Right, lately, I've been watching their series. Of, what's the pirate game? Something in Plunder, Blood and Plunder. Oh, I got too much water in that. It's so frustrating. I'll come back to that one. Fix him up later. So like, I have interest in a few different games. So like, this game actually just so happens to be one of like the first tabletop war games I ever played. And I started off with the RPG elements and drove a grand dragon into battle. Um, I think the first mech I took out was actually a locust. And it was at a small comic book shop based out of Smiths Falls called Moonshine Comics. So it was my first experience of ever with wargaming. And I mean, I think we were even playing with the cardboard. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were playing with the old cardboard cutouts. So like 4th edition Battletech or 3rd edition Battletech cardboard cutouts. Because I think 4th edition was 98. Yeah. I have the box set over there. I'm too lazy to look. But yeah, so I've been playing on and off for years. It's risen and fallen in popularity mainly because it's a war game and it can be kind of daunting and complicated and crunchy at times. But now they have the new version called Alpha Strike, which is actually really nice for modern wargaming. So it's very streamlined. And when I first started playing it, I thought it was very, like, it had very little detail. But the more I play it, the more I realize that I can do the exact same things that I was doing in classic Battletech, just with way less crunchiness. Balthasar Gold, which is important because you want to be able to get down and put a lot of minis on the table and have fun and tell a nice story of glory and battle at the end of the day, right? Like it's the end goal. You either got crushed by your opponent or you won by gloriously, jumping behind them and, one-shotting their cockpit from the back. Like execution style, which that is my shout out to Richard, my good friend from Rick's Minis on Instagram. who did that with a very tiny, fast, hard to hit mech. And the beautiful thing about Battletech is there's so many different vehicles you can use. And each one of them have their own strategy that you need to learn. They don't have weaknesses to particular things. Sometimes they. So it's not like it's balanced, but it can be unbalanced at times. But you just have to learn what units do what to kind of counteract. It's like anything. It's like if you go to a Warhammer game and you don't know who your opponent is or what they're going against, you can have a incredibly unfair fight. Right. Like very one-sided. Which is what kind of turned me off of Warhammer because they spend so much time tweaking that game and play around with it. I find they've left it more broken than it was. You know, because they'll fix one thing and then something else down the road is like, oh, well, this is now stupidly overpowered or stupidly underpowered, so, you know, all the competitive players and normal players are like, I no longer want to play this army. It depends. Like, there's various levels of depth you can go into. I was always like into playing a fluffy army. Like my main army was Necrons. My first army was Ultramarines. My main army was Necrons. Right. So once I learned how the Necrons worked and moved in 8th edition, which is the edition that I started playing in, um, you know, I got a feel for how they worked and I learned how to use them. And there's evidence of how badly or how well I use them on the internet now. Because we shot battle reports. Shout out to my old channel, Envelope War Gaming. But, you know, shout out to Adam. Yeah, hopefully he gets it back up and running. But I needed a. I needed to retire. It's a lot of work producing videos every week. And when it becomes unfun, it can be a miserable task. Especially when you're not making money at it. And spending lots of money on it. Okay. So that's the basic gist of them. I might be on later. I'm just going to go drink a coffee. Now that I have this set up and I know it works and I know it looks pretty good, I wouldn't mind getting like a permanent setup for this because I stream every single week with a bunch of people that we paint, so it might actually be easier for me to do it this way because then they can see what I'm painting and not have to look at my face the entire time. Not that I don't think I can look good. I just, you know, don't think they want to look at my face all the time. I don't want to look at my face all the time. Oof. Alright, so. Quick and little alert trick. You want to make gold look real good? Want to make gold look really good? Reichland Flush Shade. One thing I love about the old GW system and the new one is they always had a good variety of washes. So this is more of a reddish wash. It's generally used for skin. And yes, it will darken my um, gold, but I plan on going back and highlighting it anyways. I usually use, like, especially when I'm using metallics, um, a fair amount of colors. Go back and do the smoke. And you know what? Maybe this will inspire me to paint more. Just streaming a little bit here and there. I haven't done much with my YouTube channel in a long time. Do I want to stream on 50 different platforms at the same time? Maybe. Do I think it will make me more popular? No. But will it allow me to share my hobby with this wonderful, wonderful world out there? Yes. Yes, it will. Well, I mean, successful stream. I had one person watching for a little while, so let's thank you for watching, actually. Pretty dope. Well, at least I know. I can kind of get an idea of how I want my to look. And then I'm gonna go. I have a custom black wash that I'm gonna do and touch up some of those little black sections. I make my own washes because GW very nicely decided to change their recipe. Which is fair. They're entitled to do so. It is their product after all. Mana mana do 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 do. Mana mana do 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 do. Mana mana boo 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 do 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 do. Mana mana do 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 do. Mana mana. I definitely enjoy making my own washes. It is a good little recipe a friend of mine told me. Hello, watcher. Hello, viewers. Are you entertained? Ooh, I missed a piece. He will be sitting aside. He is to be punished. He must perform a call to trial for not being painted. 'Cause nerd stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. These guys paint really well. And I'm not like a. I don't consider myself a professional painter at all. You know, I'm tabletop quality plus. Which is what I've been told. So I will very proudly say that I am. This is also my first time ever painting these guys, so next round will be a little better. I am kind of challenging myself with this smoke here, which is fun, because part of having fun with your hobby is being able to challenge yourself. Try new things. If it doesn't work out, you know what? It's just paint. That one I forgot. And I have to touch it up. Okay, so double checking all my miniatures. Okay, that one looks like garbage. I can fix that. Do 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 da 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 do 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 do. Whoever's watching this will have this in their head, because that song is an earworm. You are welcome. By our baboon. Yes, touching up parts I missed. So, I think once the guys have the green on them, they'll look okay. I mean, they look okay now. Alright. Normally I paint with a wet palette. I just choose not to today. I don't feel like it. No, too much water. Case in point, this guy. They screwed up when molding him. Sorry if I keep moving the guys off the screen. Bam. Bam, 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 bam. Another problem I have with these is there's not a lot of consistency with. So, like, one of these molds, like, I don't know how, what the way the mold is set up, because they don't number their, like, they come pre-assembled, they don't number their parts, so you don't see a lot of that stuff that you would normally see with a model, right? So when these guys are punched out of the mold, um, I don't know where they would have been sitting in the mold, but there's one particular guy, he has, this missile launcher is crushed. And there's another one in this group that has the same problem right here. This missile launcher is crushed. Crushed. But, like, you know, this is, at this scale, it's not that bad. But, like, if it was a bigger mini, I would be like, you know, go 3D print this. Don't buy it. I would not support them. So, yeah. I mean, most of the sculpts, like, I'm generally pretty happy with. Like, that's a good sculpt. It's a nice unit. Like, when you're playing with this on the map, it's gonna look good, right? You can tell what it is. Oop, gotta touch up some stuff there. It's a good thing I looked at that. Oh, that's what I forgot. I knew I set him aside for a reason. So yeah. Happy little elemental battle suits. Oh, and they're happy. Because they get to destroy mechs. Just to give you an idea, this guy technically poops these guys out through a door somewhere. Oh, right there. So these guys hop out of here in Battletech. And he carries 5 of these guys. So he carries one of these units. I believe. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. But, like, that's kind of tightly packed. Right? Okay, I'm going to touch that up right now. So that's going to bug me. Yeah, these are not my guys, so I would rather rule in film. Leave it better than it was when you arrived. If I see my mistakes, chances are my buddy will too. And this is the first time that I'm actually willing to do anything for monetary gain. I don't normally do this stuff, so. And quick little scan. Not seeing anything. Cool. Take pride in your work, people. Take pride in your work. Okay, so we have a bunch of dudes. We're all, and then again, they're all painted for the most part. Singing in the bathtub. Dee-lee-lee. Ya-da-da-da-dee-dee. Oh, yes. There we go. fixed it. Oop. You know what the beautiful thing about painting black is? That I see a red door and I want it painted black. No. Easy to fix the little hiccups. And honestly, I have to say, these are some of the smallest guys I have ever painted. Like, most of the stuff I'm painting is, like, fairly large. So, you know, you got, like, something like that big, and let's say... Oh, look. 3D printed versus Catalyst. You know. And that Scorpion tank, right? So like this, up until this point, this is probably the smallest thing that I've painted. Right? It's pretty small, but the detail is there, right? And I can dry brush whatever. Right, but for the most part, what I'm painting is like this. Right? And oh, if you're 3D printing, always keep your screw ups. Why? Because you never know when you need broken down mix. It's like a treasure trove of bits. After a while, you just have lots of them. So I'll be finishing my Scorpion next, then finishing this guy. This guy's Catalyst, and then this guy's 3D printed Summoner. So this is the first entry in my Wolf clan guys. Because I've done Draconis Combine, the 7th Vega, I think it is. Don't quote me on that. It's a specific set of people for the Draconis Combine because they have, you know, horrible pilots, but they have the largest variety of mechs. Oh no, I lost somebody. What happened? Nothing, kid. You're just boring. Oh, yes. So, yeah, those guys are gonna look dope. Can't wait to see when I put the grass on. And I've been doing, trying out to do... This is the first time I really got to do static grass. So I got a static grass applicator, and I got it to stand up and stuff like that. So I was happy about that. Very, very happy. Happy, happy, happy. Okay, so time to remember what I did. Okay, so technically just dry brush a bit of white up into the yellow, and then a little bit of black onto the white, and we're good. And then touch up near the dudes, and then I can actually do some highlights on the gold. And grass, and then paint the rim. And these are done, and my buddy will be very happy. Because then it could be like, yo, dude, your stuff's done, dude. And he'll be like, oh my god, that looks so good. Right, right. We can all play little imaginary scenarios in our head. I'm using this stuff, although I hate it, right? It's garbage, but it's good for dry brushing because it's chunky. And I mean, like, I do have really good white paints. Like, I have Chimera. Like, I have an entire Chimera set right there. But I want to use Chimera for like special stuff. Battletech is special to me, but it's not Chimera special. Like it's like I have a particular project that I want to do, um, and it's going to take a while to print. It's a Marauder, but it's a classic Marauder melded with the modern Marauder. It's a very beautiful sculpt, and I would like to eventually print it, although it's going to take a massively long time. I should probably paint in front of the camera, eh? So, this just a little bit of white does a really nice job at blending into the orange. Kind of going for a more realistic, less cartoony look. So, and then I will mix the soot in. And I thought about this little trick or this um, technique for a long time before I attempted it. I was like, how can I make fire look decent? I've done fire before, not a whole bunch of times. I tend to avoid it. But, you know, when you've got jump jets, you can't avoid fire. I mean, I could definitely do the transition with an airbrush, that's for sure. But at this scale, is it really worth it? No. I mean, yes, it's worth it, but one thing I love about the um, mini industry and the hobby is how everybody became an amazing painter. Everyone's like, if you want to paint like me, right? And yet it's all GW stuff, and it's all the same techniques. I'm just putting a little bit of a highlight here because it is light, so you know, it's casting light. I will be doing a very light dry brush of yellow. Yeah, actually, it looks pretty good. Okay, and now to put the soot. Into the smoke. That turned out alright. Well, that looks good on camera. I apologize if I'm like blocking the camera out. So yeah. It's a little bit of white to accent that. All right, now for the black. This is probably the longest I've streamed in a long time. Although this is the first time I've streamed in a long time. So I'm going to start off with. I think I'm just going to go right to Abaddon Black. Yeah. Oops. So, just looking for my mark there. Yeah. Nope. It kind of dulls it a little bit, but at the same time, you kind of get the gist. I mean, I definitely like that transition. It just gotta like carbon, unburnt carbon. And then I'm going to do like little black brush, dry brushes onto the grass. The grass when I do the grass. I wonder if I should stream that too. I don't know. John, you're awesome. You know what? It's funny because all I was thinking about, I was thinking about talking this morning about how my boss likes to sing Little Mermaid songs at work. The sad part is, I don't know whether I should admit that I know exactly what that song is and where it's from. Or just, speak to the fact that, like, I want to be where the people are. Uh-oh, copyright infringement. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my lord. This, I I read that every single time. That's hilarious. John, you're awesome. And it's people like you who make me want to come into work. Okay. So, how do I want to do this? I think to take a break, and then I'm going to come back at this, and I'm going to apply the static grass because it's kind of messy, and then I will reset up later on or tomorrow morning, and I will finish painting these guys up and clear coat them so that I can present them to my buddy on Monday. So, in the they will look like that. They'll match. They will have the static grass. This white won't look like that. I'm going to go through and I'm going to spackle black in that direction to simulate the fact that they singe the grass that they're on. So, yeah, I think that looks okay. Thank you very much for watching my stream.